Well, building on what Kyung-Ah said, probably the most significant good news in the glass that's more than half full is the cost reduction and the performance increases in clean energy technologies at the generation level. And there's a parallel, I think, and very complementary change at two other changes. One at the business model level, where businesses are beginning to figure out how to better provide clean energy solutions, not just to the grid, but also to customers. And at the financing level, where markets are beginning to figure out how better to reduce the cost and appreciate and value properly the low-risk characteristics of clean energy resources. And this kind of virtuous triangle, I think, is growing, and it needs to grow. And I actually think that we tend to be more pessimistic about climate solutions when we only think about the technology side. But there's lots of good news on the technology side. So clean technologies, as Kyung-Ah said, solar is getting dramatically cheaper, and not just because of oversupply, but also because of innovation and business models that are better able to minimize their cost and structure their capital investments so that they can produce new, higher efficiency and lower cost solar modules, solar inverters, and other parts of the value chain in a way that is sustainable. And you can look at some of the companies, domestic and international, whose stocks have been hammered, and look at their earnings reports and their quarterly calls and stuff, and see their plans for sustaining themselves through this low price, low cost environment. And it's really quite impressive. Of course, that makes, if you're going to develop a power plant, something where with renewables you're basically substituting capital for fuel, the cheaper the capital is and the easier it is to finance, the better a deal it is. So we're very excited about that kind of thing, and that's one of the reasons I think NRG, we have the largest portfolio of utility-scale solar projects in the U.S. power sector. Just under 1 gigawatt of megawatts that are actually under construction right now, all of them under PPA, so they're very attractive from a yield or a financing perspective, a risk and return kind of perspective. And we continue to see the costs going radically down. But then if we turn to the other part of the equation, which is the customer side, what we're seeing is both in the utility space, which Bill can talk about, the competitive power space, and the third-party provider space, we're seeing tremendous innovation in terms like energy efficiency services, distributed generation services, energy management, and energy retail marketing. If you go outside in Manhattan and look up the Empire State Building, our affiliate Green Mountain Power is providing that. That's all renewable energy electricity lighting the Empire State Building, and they've gone through a major energy efficiency retrofit, not by us, but by one of our competitors, that has reduced the amount of electricity they have to use dramatically. So there's a kind of double whammy effect on the environmental impact of power production from both retail marketing and energy efficiency. Things we're doing as a company, like electric vehicle charging systems and distributed generation, much of it in very highly visible places like the Meadowlands Stadium, the Patriot Stadium, the Redskin Stadium, where consumers can see distributed generation projects and value and have it be a very tangible value production, and not something that's traditionally associated with the left, but more with tailgate parties. And America's favorite pastime.
Left-wingers don't like the tailgate?
These are things that dramatically change the value proposition to consumers of distributed energy resources, which are becoming more and more compelling and more able to compete in a low subsidy or subsidy-free world thanks to the cost reduction. So from all those perspectives, new business models, consumer engagement, better financing, and technology, it's a very optimistic time. We are seeing some fallout of the loss of political support and of competition amongst lower cost producers in the industry as we go into these good times.
I guess.